from the norm that it just gives us so much to talk about. Because I'm not kidding y'all, there's like 75 or 80 different things that are happening right now in this administration that are unconstitutional, that are illegal, that are immoral, that are going to have long-lasting and leave deep scars in this democracy forever. That's just happening just all at once. And it's way too much for any one person to follow. So what I have to do is sift through what I think are the most outrageous and egregious and the things that will have the most powerful long-term consequences to people and this nation. Keeping in mind, the president is the chief law enforcement officer. He enforces the laws that are passed by Congress. There is no lawmaking authority in the United States of America that is higher than the U.S. Congress. Congress is made up of your 100 U.S. senators, to which each state has 2. And your 435 members of the House of Representatives, which are apportioned based upon population, meaning every 500,000 people in population affords you another member of Congress, because we see it as fitting that if a area, a city, a town, a county has grown 500,000 more people, you deserve a voice in Congress. So every 500,000 people in population, you get an additional member of Congress. Okay? Very powerful, not very, the most powerful. They can declare war. Last time we declared war was on Japan, and that was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, what the president has done, and what presidents, plural, have done, is they have used their authority as commander-in-chief of the military to go bomb stuff. I know we want to think of Vietnam as a war, but Congress never officially declared the war on the Vietnam. We just bombed a bunch of stuff, like 4 presidents, actually. Bomb stuff in the Vietnams, you see. But only Congress can declare war. Last time war was declared, we all know the speech. December 7th, 1941 is a date that will live in infamy. That was Franklin Delano Roosevelt's address to Congress, asking them, basically begging them, to declare war on the Empire of Japan. And they did. And we bombed Japan real good. So when we declare war on your ass, you better, I would say run, but you can't run anywhere. So I'm going to take a break when I come back. There's something that the president and his administration is doing. And this is not going to change any of your minds. I just want you to know. Just so you can say that you knew. Doesn't mean you're going to do anything. No one's going to march. Nobody's going to protest. Relax. I just want you to know that his priority, the chief law enforcement officer in the country, is deportations. You guys know that. Well, there are people in federal agencies that have to investigate all sorts of crimes. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but a lot of crime is committed in America. A ton. All the financial crimes, personal property crimes, just a lot of crimes, embezzlement schemes, white-collar crimes, all sorts of different kinds of crimes. And so we have investigators, like in the FBI, that are focused on particular types of crime. One that I am concerned about is the rise in domestic terrorism, not just the individual people who are assassinating folks, and like school shootings are domestic terrorism. What happened on January 6, 2021 was domestic terrorism, and Donald Trump pardoned all those people, which is unusual because at first they said, no, it was Antifa. Antifa is the one that stormed the Capitol. And a lot of conservatives actually believe that. God bless them. Well, if Antifa are the ones that actually stormed the Capitol, and you know, Donald Trump doesn't like anti-fascists. Please digest the irony in that statement. Donald Trump doesn't like anti-fascists. So the rumor was, well, no, it was Antifa that attacked the Capitol. Then why in the hell did Donald Trump pardon 1,500 Antifa? If he doesn't like the anti-fascists and he wants to now declare war on Antifa, and if you believe that Antifa were the ones and not Trump supporters that attacked the Capitol on January 6th to try and stop the peaceful transfer of power because Joe Biden actually won the election, then what the hell are we doing? So I think January 6th was an act of domestic terrorism. So because Donald Trump is so prioritizing deportations, he is removing agents in all the bureaus that are focused on investigating and prosecuting domestic terrorism. And he's moving those agents to deportations. In fact, this president is moving so many agents from domestic terrorism, which is going to grow, over to deportations, that there now will be the ability for domestic terrorists to thrive because there's not going to be anybody investigating them. And another situation that our Federal Bureau of Investigation calls domestic terrorism, I didn't know this, I learned this morning, is people that prey on children. They're considered domestic terrorists. Donald Trump is removing federal investigators from their jobs of investigating people that prey on children and moving all of them to immigration enforcement. You know what that means. The people that are preying on children will now have essentially no one investigating them at the federal level, where the resources to bring those people to justice are the highest. We're going to talk about that on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a ball.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's 101.7 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Gina Della and her team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin always have the winning game plan. Check out the championship caliber play call this month. A whole house of beautiful, new, energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month, and get this, 0% interest for up to 60 months. That's like running a drive that keeps moving the chains with no penalties and no interest. And I can tell you from my experience, Pella windows actually stop the drafts. You'll stay comfortable no matter how cold it gets outside. Think about it. Energy savings, comfort, and a great monthly payment you can actually manage. That's why I trust Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and why this is the right time to make your move. Call today and schedule your free consultation at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 10/31 of 2025.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
President Donald Trump's promise to carry out the largest deportation program in American history has reshaped federal law enforcement priorities and diminished efforts to fight domestic terrorism. So here's one of them things now. Some of y'all voted to get rid of the people that don't speak the English. You're taking our jobs, which is interesting because a lot of them have been deported and detained. Let's put it this way. The ones that haven't been yet deported are being detained, and they're not at work. So wherever they worked, and a lot of them had legitimate jobs, just so you know, because your desire to want those people out of here, so they were working and contributing to FICA. Because even if you're not legal and you work and you get a paycheck, you still contribute to the Federal Insurance Contribution Act. You know what that is? That's your Social Security. Right now, because we have so many people that are on Social Security, and because people are living longer thanks to, advancements in medical technology like vaccines, people are living longer. So the longer people live, the more people that we're going to need working in this country just to pay the people that are on Social Security right now. I got to clear something up now. Some of y'all think that the money you paid into Social Security all your years of working is what you are now receiving. That is wrong. Fundamentally wrong. The money that you contributed to FICA, when you get your pay stub, if you even get those anymore, I don't even know how people get paid anymore. Some mornings I wake up and it's more money in my account than was in there the previous day. A lot of times I got to ask Ricky when we get paid. Some days I know, some days I don't. I don't even know how we get paid here.
Are you complaining?
I mean, as long as the money is in there.
That's all that matters.
And also, you know what else is weird, Ricky? All my paychecks are different amounts. I don't ever have a check. Well, whatever. It is what it is. So whenever you look at your little pay stub, which none of you look at, you'll see FICA and you'll see a minus and whatever the dollar amount is. That is your contribution to what you think is your Social Security. Americans think their Social Security is like their savings account that the government is setting up for them. It was when the program was created, life expectancy was only about 67 years. You qualify for Social Security at 65. Your ass was dead 2 years later. So there was a surplus because you were dead. You weren't around to get that money. But now, the money that you contribute, so the average is something like, in a lifetime, you'll contribute about $720. This is an average working person, whatever the hell that even is. Because some of y'all work on OnlyFans. Is that trend ever going to die? Is that? There's this lady that makes like regular content. She's like a traveler. She travels to different places around the country. It's really interesting because she travels in like a converted like cargo van, and it's like her house. And she goes to different destinations, whatever. And just so she doesn't mention the fact, I'm not going to say her name because I don't want you guys leaving my YouTube stream to go find her. But she travels around the country in like this converted cargo van. But she doesn't mention the fact that she has an OnlyFans. But I've noticed in her videos that she makes about traveling to different destinations and different tourist places around the country, she wears really, really, really short shorts. Like, I don't know where that trend came from. Where women, I guess girls too in some cases, wear shorts that are so short that the ass is out. The whole ass. It's just cheek to cheek. There's so many cheeks. The cheeks are just out. And they leave the house like that. So she's making her content, traveling all around the country in her converted van that she lives in. And she actually has her OnlyFans website URL tattooed on her leg. So one day I'm watching one of her videos, looking at different destinations, whatever, and I hit the pause button. I said, let me go on and just see. Because that's commitment. If you're going to tattoo your OnlyFans website on your leg, and it ain't drawn on, it is tattooed and it's visible in all of her videos. If it was drawn on, eventually it would wash off. So I went to go look at the OnlyFans and I can't. So I don't know how some of you all get paid. You guys get paid a variety of different ways. Some of you make content on YouTube. Some of you host radio shows. Some of you work as journalists and writers. Some of you work in factories. Some of you are independent contractors, whatever the case may be. So whatever it is you do for work, the average that you're going to contribute to FICA over your working years is $720,000. The average beneficiary pulls down just over $1 million, meaning you are creating a $300,000 deficit if you are receiving Social Security for the average amount of time. So that's based on regular American life expectancy. And if you worked however many years and contributed that average amount of $720,000, meaning we need people that are working right now to pay for the people that are receiving Social Security at this moment. So if we are removing people from their jobs because their visas have expired, or if they have a visa or it's a student visa, and if they're violating something that Trump doesn't like, they're a pro-Palestinian protester and they're removed from the country and they are no longer working, or you have a whole lot of people of Hispanic and Latino descent that are just not going to work because they're afraid of being deported, that means that less money is being contributed to FICA. So when your Social Security check runs out and you are someone that voted for these immigration policies, here's what we call these unintended consequences. And you know, when people say, oh, elections have consequences, it's going to hit you in the pocketbook. Now, I know that some of y'all don't like the Latinos and the Hispanics because they come over here and I don't know what they do, make delicious food and play mariachi music. Oh, no, what a damn crime. But do you want them gone so bad that you want your Social Security to be either cut drastically or eliminated? But see, nobody talked to you about that because Kamala Harris assumes you knew that. So they are diverting federal agents into immigration enforcement because it's a very ambitious goal that they have, deporting 11 million people. And the impact is going to be felt in the economy because I don't think we quite understand how they undergird some of the basic goods and services that we take for granted. Here's an example for you. And I found this out from some Republicans. They told me this. Republicans, sometimes they embarrassed to talk to me, which they shouldn't be. Like, Sherwin, I can't be seen talking to you. Because they think I'm some like crazy lefty liberal. But hey, I'm not a crazy lefty liberal. But they're afraid to publicly denounce Trump. I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. Now, I have seen sycophantic behavior on the left. The whole Bernie Sanders phenomenon, I totally didn't get. I've never been a Bernie Sanders guy, ever. Check the tape. Go back to when I was at the original 101.7 on Brady Street back in 2018. I'd never been a Bernie fan. I used to speak truth about Bernie Sanders because a lot of white folks did not understand why black people were not voting for Bernie Sanders. Here's something I also need to just put out there in the ether. Black people have a different perspective on policy. We use it for different means and purposes than white people do. For white people, it's fun, it's games, it's cute, it's cultish, it's cliquish. We need it so we can have guaranteed rights. White people have always had rights. In fact, white people wrote rights down on paper, gave them to themselves first, except if you're a white woman who really got screwed over. White women couldn't even vote until 1920. That's just foul. And then they get the right to vote and then vote to politically support the people that oppressed them, that made it so that black men in this country could vote before white women. And what do white women do? Vote to undergird and support the system that didn't give them suffrage until the damn 20th century. That is just mind blown. Boom. So we have to be practical as black people with our votes. Are we practical sometimes? But we're not going to vote for a democratic socialist that thinks that everything is about class and does not see and cannot understand nor interpret the impact of race. That is a huge, I guess, blind spot with white people. They can't, because they don't know what race really is. Because to them, they're just normal, regular people. And they don't have white privilege because, oh, Sherwin, I had to work hard for everything I got. Okay, good. You're supposed to. But you were never denied something because of your race. You don't have a history in your family of someone not being able to vote or not being able to get a house or not being able to get an apartment because of their skin color. If a white person could get an apartment, your credit sucks. You're a loser. That's why if I don't get an apartment, it could be because someone doesn't want black people living in their building. Do you see the difference there? So we're much more practical when we vote. Bernie Sanders was not practical, and he just refused to address the issues of race because he didn't know how. So Bernie Sanders was never going to get the Democratic nomination, whether they cheated for him or cheated for Hillary Clinton or not. He was not going to get the nomination. So I've seen leftist sycophants. Some of y'all are sycophantic for Kamala. She's done. You can only fall in love for so long. Now, we weren't really, those of us who were practical, who didn't want Donald Trump to win, our love for Kamala Harris was conditional. Right? It was conditioned upon, we're going to support you, but you have to win to stop the other guy from running the nation off of the tracks. But if you don't win, we have to break up with you. I also see some sycophants that are now starting to hover around Jasmine Crockett. That's why we talked about Jasmine Crockett's credibility earlier in the week. Don't fall in love with her if she can't win now. You want to fall in love with her, then send her a campaign contribution. Have an automatic contribution sent out of your bank account into her campaign account if you love her that much. See, I didn't think you loved her that much. But so I have Republicans coming up to me. Sherwin, what are we going to do? What do you mean, what we going to do? What y'all going to do? The dairy industry in Wisconsin. Your milk, your cheese, your ice creams, your frozen custard. The majority of that labor, illegal migrants. If they're not coming to work or if they're being deported, if they're being detained, your big back ass ain't gonna get no cheese. You gonna go to Culver's and they don't got no cheese curds. They just gonna have curd. Just the breading. Take a break, come back. Talk about something else that is taking place in this administration with all of these FBI agents that are being diverted to immigration enforcement. There's something that I think it's going to have a real negative long-term impact. We'll discuss that on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We believe that self-care isn't selfish. I'm Maddie from Sweet Talks, a woman-owned and operated medical spa fostering self-love and confidence. We believe that beauty is about feeling empowered from within, and it's truly a passion for our team at Sweet Talks. Your goals are our goals. Our services go beyond injectables, including facials, lasers, medical weight loss, hormone therapy, and more. There's even a cafe, complimentary to all patients. Get started today at Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Sherwin Hughes with his truth.
You ever notice how the phrase 9 to 5 sounds just so old school? That's because in 2025, the 9 to 5 is as outdated as a rotary phone. Let's be real. The world has changed, and the way we work has changed with it. The gig economy is booming. Folks are making money on their own terms, driving Ubers, delivering DoorDash, freelancing, and side hustling their way to the bag. And then there's the work-from-home revolution. People are clocking in from their kitchen tables, their favorite coffee shops, or even the beach. Laptops open, pajamas on, productivity up. The virtual office is now the new corner office, and the only commute is from the bed to the desk. Let's not forget about the digital nomads, those bold souls who turn the world into their workplace. They're sending emails from Bali, closing deals in Barcelona, and living life on their own schedule. No time clock, no cubicle, just Wi-Fi and a dream. And 21st century entrepreneurship, well, it's a whole new game. You can launch a business from your phone, build a brand on Instagram, and make more in a week than some folks do in a month without even punching a clock. So who's still working that old 9 to 5 job? People who are resistant to change or maybe just can't adapt. The future belongs to the flexible, the creative, the hustlers who know how to make technology work for them. The 9 to 5, well, that's a museum piece. The real action is happening outside the box, where freedom and opportunity are just a click away.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
President Donald Trump's promise to carry out the largest deportation program in American history has reshaped federal law enforcement priorities and diminished efforts to fight domestic terrorism, including extremists who target children, according to sources and newly released federal data. A lot of things bother me. A few things bother me like this. The president will come into a briefing room. We got to get them out of here. All the illegals, they're all criminals and they're murderers and they're rapists. He overused that term, rapist, which is either foreshadowing or irony. I'm not sure. And he probably said, we need to get all the agents we can to get on the deportation because Trump doesn't want to look bad. He said he was going to deport 11 million people. And by golly, he's going to get those 11 million people the hell out of here. And so they probably gave him an inventory of his assets. Okay, Mr. President, we've got 10,000, 11,000, 13,000 FBI agents. We can dedicate maybe 75 or 80 to investigating and going after some of these people who may be in the country illegally. Trump would say, that's not enough. We need more. We need thousands. And then they'll say, well, Mr. President, if we take more than that, then other areas in which we're going to need FBI agents to investigate, including cases that they're working on right now where they're really close to getting a warrant and really close to getting a prosecution, we're going to need those agents to stay on those cases, especially sensitive cases and sensitive crimes like people that prey on children. Trump still made the decision to remove agents that are investigating people that prey on children and move them over to immigration enforcement. Who in their right mind would do something like that? So just so you know, right? You know, Republicans always want less government. Government is too big. The government is too expensive. You know, we, the American people, can do for ourselves. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, now you better do a better job of protecting your children from online predators, because there's less federal agents that are dedicated to doing that, because they're more concerned about getting Juan and Paco off the dairy farm, delivering you your delicious 2% milk. If you're going to drink milk, drink whole milk. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to drink skim milk, just drink water.
Or drink almond milk is more healthier.
Almond milk tastes like crap. Oat milk for the win. I don't like almond milk. Soy milk should be illegal. If somebody says, "Oh, I'll have a soy milk," I immediately feel like chasing them. Like I just want to start running after them and tackle them.
Gonna be boo-booing bricks.
Roughly 20% of FBI agents, 2,840 out of 13,800, have been diverted to work on immigration enforcement, according to data obtained by the conservative Cato Institute. When the Cato Institute is investigating this and they have a problem with it, it's a big deal. Now remember, Donald Trump is the chief law enforcement officer in the country. He gets to appoint the attorney general, who is the people's attorney that prosecutes these criminals. He gets to appoint the head of the FBI, you know, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, to investigate the bad guys here domestically and also overseas. He, being the chief law enforcement officer, is entrusted with all of these duties. Now, he also has his priorities, and I think a lot of you may share the president's priorities. You want all the Mexicans gone because apparently you want to go milk your own cows. I don't want to milk a cow at all. In fact, so I don't drink cow's milk. I haven't had cow's milk in my house in probably 6 years. I don't have a use for milk. I don't eat cereal because I'm an adult. I don't eat oatmeal because I come to find out that oatmeal is stupid and it's not as good for you as people said it was. So I don't really have a use for milk. But those of you that drink the milk, you know that the dairy industry here is, like, our labor is illegal migrants, because lo and behold, Wisconsinites don't want to milk cows either. But Juan and Paco, they'll milk that cow, even though it's probably all automated. Juan and Paco are controlling the milking machines, whatever. Roughly 20% of FBI agents, 2,840 out of 13,800, have been diverted to work on immigration enforcement, according to data obtained by the conservative Cato Institute. That represents a significantly larger shift in FBI priorities than what happened after September 11th. Hold on, I need you to understand this. So, obviously, after September 11th, we had to shift a lot of our investigators and a lot of our intelligence assets and resources to finding out who the terrorists are, because we didn't want another September 11th. If you remember that day, very bad day in America. Trump is shifting more federal agents to immigration enforcement and deportation than we shifted agents in the aftermath of September 11th. This represents a significantly larger shift in FBI priorities than what happened after the September 11th terrorist attacks, when 1,234 FBI criminal investigators were reassigned to counterterrorism efforts. Personally, I would argue that finding out and investigating and bringing to justice terrorists and those people that wanted to go to war with the United States, that was a bigger priority than Juan and Paco making sure that your cream and the dairy and the cream puffs are fresh. Okay, to me, September 11th, way up here on the priority list. Illegal people that are milking cows and providing cheese for cheese curds, very low on the priority list. He moved 2,840 investigators to now focus strictly on deporting illegals. During September 11th, or just after the attacks, George Bush shifted 1,234. So more than double of the FBI agents have been shifted to immigration enforcement than George Bush did after September 11th. It's one of the many consequences of FBI Director Kash Patel's push to require agents to help round up undocumented immigrants, a mission not normally undertaken by the FBI in the first place. The impacts have been significant. Nearly every agent on Baltimore's domestic terrorism squad was reassigned this year to work full-time on immigration enforcement, forcing them to walk away from investigations of a network of violent predators that target and exploit children, according to two former FBI officials directly familiar with that matter. I need you to understand something now. He is prioritizing getting quote-unquote illegals out of the country over protecting children, in which sexual predators are now going to be able to pursue these children with much less oversight from the federal government. Also, people that were investigating domestic terrorism is January 6th. Domestic terrorism are these politically motivated shootings that we know 75% of them are committed by right-wing, right-leaning Christian nationalists, very conservative Trump sycophantic groups. Less people are going to be investigating them because they're pushing all of those agents to immigration enforcement. That is consistent with the national de-emphasis of domestic terrorism investigations in the Trump Justice Department, current and former officials say. So just imagine there's a de-emphasis of investigating domestic terrorist organizations, which James Comey said in 2006 when he was the head of the FBI under that was George W. Bush. The FBI came out with a briefing. And when that briefing was 10 years old, I remember covering it on my radio show because it was a decade that had passed since James Comey made this revelation way back in 2006. That was 19 years ago. You know what James Comey said in 2006? He said the biggest problem with terrorism, this is 5 years after September 11th now, he said, we have come to realize, he was head of the FBI at the time under Bush, he said, we have come to realize that our biggest threat here in the United States of America is not foreign nationals, it's homegrown American domestic terrorists. James Comey said that in a bulletin in 2006. A decade after James Comey made that pronouncement, I covered it on my radio show because I was wondering how much progress we had made since James Comey, the FBI director in 2006, said the biggest problem with domestic terrorism, or the biggest issue that we are facing right now, is domestic terrorism. And it was everything from these extremist groups to mass shooters to school shooters to politically motivated homicides, but even law enforcement. Domestic terrorism can be carried out within the ranks of law enforcement because at that time we saw this incredible uptick of people wanting to join the police department all over the country. It was a real weird phenomenon. So the FBI was like, this is odd. We should investigate. Here's what happened. So back then, internal affairs and internal investigating was something that police departments did. We have since moved away from that. We now have independent agencies from different jurisdictions that investigate police officers when there's some misconduct or wrongdoing. So what happened was white nationalists, white supremacists were joining the police department, not necessarily to commit hate crimes against minorities and communities that are over-policed, but so that they could work their way to internal affairs so they could exonerate cops that were accused of misconduct or accused of racial profiling or accused of killing some black man, woman, or child because of their race. That is why so many white nationalists joined the police department. Yes, and of course to have some kind of that kind of immunity that police officers have, but to make sure that their fellow brothers and sisters, when they committed heinous acts against over-policed communities, that they never got in any kind of trouble. And now Donald Trump is removing even more investigators from the federal bureau, especially when it comes to investigating sensitive crimes like those people committing crimes against children, and shifting them all to immigration enforcement. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join Truth to Power this Friday, October 10th from noon until 1 p.m. as I will be broadcasting live from Steinhoffel's in Waukesha. For 91 years, Steinhoffel's has been Wisconsin's local 100% employee-owned furniture and mattress leader. And right now, celebrate their friends and family sale with 10% off store-wide or 36 months of 0% financing. Plus, you get $91 off every $9.99 you spend. I can't wait to see you at Steinhoffel's in Waukesha this Friday.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Ready to hit the road in your new car? At Brewery Credit Union, we make it easy with affordable payment options on auto loans designed to fit your budget. Whether it's a brand new ride or the perfect used vehicle, we'll help you get behind the wheel faster. With flexible terms, quick approvals, and personalized service you can trust. Don't wait. Start your journey today. Apply online at brewerycu.com or visit us at Brewery Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Junior Achievement is proud to team up with the Admirals to help young people build the skills they need to win in school, in work, and in life. Thank you to the Milwaukee Admirals for supporting JA programming and for giving our students a power play toward a brighter future. To learn more, visit wisconsin.ja.org.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Brewers offices. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Agents aren't out there recruiting sources. They're not out maintaining tripwires. They are not able to keep their ear to the ground about what's happening among extremist movements, said Michael Feinberg, a former senior FBI executive who was fired over what he says was a friendship with someone whom the White House deemed as an enemy. Quote, as a result, the extremists have more latitude to do things that harm our society. So just humor me for a moment, and please have some kind of appreciation and or respect for the speed in which this administration is moving down a very, very dark path. You are militarizing American cities, which I think is adding legitimacy to what happened on January 6th. January 6th wasn't very legitimate because it was a bunch of just idiots, fools, ragtag sycophants. Now, there was some military that was in the crowd, but for the most part, it was a couple thousand Donald Trump supporters. Well, now the man is president again, and what happened on January 6th with a bunch of ragtag knuckleheads and loosely affiliated different groups, you know, the Tea Party people and this group and the Boogaloo Boys and the Proud Boys, etc. Now Donald Trump has the military. So you got to give some kind of compelling reason to the American people, and one compelling reason is, oh, there's a bunch of crime because Americans hate crime. Even though when you think about it, we're the ones committing it. We hate it. So if you tell Americans, yeah, these cities where you have black people in leadership and where you have Democrats, so this is something else we have to have sorted out when we have our political discussions a quarter century into the 21st century. Democrat and black is synonymous because it's in bad taste to use the N-word. But because so many of us vote for Democrats, attacking Democrats is also attacking black people. Also, in the last 60 years, the political party that has absolutely outperformed and over-delivered for African Americans in terms of policy has been the Democrats. Has it been perfect? No, because the Democrats are not more powerful than white supremacy. But they have, in fact, delivered more, spoke to our issues more as black people than the Republican Party has in the last 60 years. Okay? So it's synonymous. Democrat, black. You got a Democrat leader. That's the same as being black, because I looked at the exact same way. The way Donald Trump talks about Democrats, also close your eyes and imagine him talking about black people that exact same way. Because just like they take terminology and they flip it. Woke used to be a positive thing. Stay woke, everybody. Don't be asleep. Be a critical thinker. Second guess everything. Don't always trust these people. Stay woke. Stay woke while you're driving through Mississippi at night if you're black, because if they catch you slipping, they're going to kill you. Now woke is bad, right? So they do these flips of terminology. DEI used to be good. Now DEI is bad. So they've also done that kind of switcheroo with Democrats. So anything Democratic, Democratic city, Democratic state, a blue state is bad, and it also is synonymous with African American. Because if you punish Democrats, you also inadvertently or maybe intentionally are going to also diminish the political progress and social progress of black people. So you have to have this compelling reason to send militaries and armies to American cities because it's illegal and unconstitutional. It violates the Posse Comitatus Act. And Trump was like, oh, well, there's crime in these blue cities. There's crime where there's black people is the translation. And now you are removing federal investigators from bringing to justice extremist groups like the Proud Boys, like the Boogaloo Boys, like the Aryan Nations and these other affiliated groups. Because remember, the people that were investigating, those are domestic terrorists, make no mistake about it. But the people that were in charge of investigating them, those extremist groups that seek to do harm to all of us, there's less people investigating them because Trump is moving them all to immigration enforcement, meaning the armies that were amassed on January 6, 2021 can now be amassed in different American cities with legitimate National Guard and with legitimate military. So you have less people investigating extremist groups, and you're seeing military buildups in blue cities and in blue states, all on the heels of a 2026 midterm election. My, oh my, what could go wrong with that? What could possibly go wrong? And they're moving at breakneck speed. And this is such a priority for this administration that when the president was given the briefing that says, Mr. President, you are moving more federal agents to deal with immigration than we did after September 11th when we thought the damn country was under full attack from terrorists. He knows what he is doing. And if he doesn't know what he is doing, the people around him know what they are doing. So if you have less people investigating domestic terrorists, the investigators are now concentrating their energies on illegal immigration. And the president is sending the military into American cities, while domestic terrorist organizations are allowed to grow, recruit, and expand. What could possibly go wrong? Now, I'm not saying there's a worst-case scenario brewing, but I am saying this. I don't trust the motives of this administration. You don't move FBI agents to investigate illegal immigration. FBI agents don't even do that. They go after child sex traffickers and predators and domestic and extremist groups. That's what the FBI does, but they're being moved into a duty in which they're not even going to be effective. But the move is to make sure that these domestic terrorist groups can grow with impunity without the prying eyes of the FBI. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Come in with straight truth.
Everything got a message. I'll say this. Y'all can't be tired if y'all still messing with the negative energy. Every day I get on and say, the power of the tongue. Your impulsive negative thoughts, reacting, and these kids watching you reacting all wild and crazy. The programming you watching on TV, the music. And now, like Security Mike said, it's popular to pop somebody. It's popular now. And these kids coming back to somebody's house. They coming to eat a meal at somebody's house. They hanging out with somebody in the neighborhood who got a house, who paying the rent. They hanging out with you. They may be your relative. They may be your buddy. That social acceptance is there. Understand what I'm saying? So when we really tired, we gonna cut it off. We gonna stop it.
Tune in to all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows all day, every day by downloading the Truth app.
How is it possible for somebody to be found guilty of something and serve no jail time? How is it possible that someone can get a first offense misdemeanor when it comes to marijuana here in the state of Wisconsin and can face up to 6 months in jail, but two men who are convicted of murder get probation? This is not what justice is about. Why does this keep happening, Truth Nation? And why does it always seem like black people die and we don't get the justice that we deserve? How should we react to this? If you commit a crime, you must do the time. If you take somebody's life, you have to pay the cost. I don't care that it was an accident, because it does not make sense to me how someone can be murdered and somehow they get no time. Even if you accidentally kill somebody, you are still a murderer, especially when you plead guilty to felony murder. Marijuana will get you more time in jail than killing somebody, especially when it comes to a black man here in America, unfortunately.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Truth app.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. So we titled the program Facts and the Black Tax, but that's not what I talked about during Hour 1. I wanted to bring what I thought was an urgent matter to your attention, that this administration is moving more agents to investigating and helping with the deportation of migrants, which is not what the FBI does. Just like the National Guard does not involve itself in municipal law enforcement. That's screwing everything up, because you are putting people in places in which they have no experience. That's a recipe for disaster. And what's crazy is it's a recipe for disaster. And so for a moment, let me just take a second here. I do want to get into what I was thinking when I came up with the title of Facts and the Black Tax. If some of you are clinging to the reason of Donald Trump is a businessman, sometimes the business mindset means efficiency, right? The most cost-effective way to reach a desired result, to increase your benefit and reduce your expenditure, to get maximum profitability out of something, right? And maximum profitability, if you're looking at things in terms of business, maximum profitability would be the American people are getting the best of everything. We're getting the best resources, we're getting the best service, and it's costing us less because we're using a businessman to help arrive us at our destination. Okay, let's just say that and most people that say they vote for Donald Trump because he's a businessman don't even analyze it as far as I just did. They just say, he a businessman. He did business. But let's just say somebody appreciates his business acumen, which actually sucks because he got a whole bunch of money that he inherited and he basically squandered it, lost a bunch of money on casinos and went bankrupt a bunch of times, but whatever. One thing that you don't do in business is put your resources in something that is going to be a failure from the onset. If you have somebody that is really, really good at like domestic services, right? They're the house cleaner. They're the janitor. You don't put them in accounting. They're very good at the housekeeping and the janitorial services, right? You don't put them in charge of auditing the reports at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be a recipe for disaster. He is moving people that have no experience in a particular task and then putting them on top of those tasks. We know that people in the military, they don't do domestic law enforcement. Even when they go over to other countries and they try and rebuild cities after we bomb them, they suck at that too. After we bombed the hell out of Iraq, they tried to have elections. There was terrorist attacks at all the damn polling sites. So we're not very good at that. So if you're a businessman, why would you do things? And I'm just so confused. I think sometimes people, they're called businessmen and businesswomen because they inherited a bunch of money and they just try a bunch of stuff. Because entrepreneurs are risk takers. Sometimes entrepreneurs are stupid, though. And when you're stupid and have a lot of money, people still look at you as a hero. Which is, it's not even about how innovative you are. You know, it's just, if you got a bunch of money, people are like, oh my God, they have a bunch of money. They must be really good at something. No, they just had rich parents a lot of times. So we're diverting all of these resources into areas in which the people that are being given new tasks have no experience whatsoever. Like, how is that not a recipe for disaster? How are they not like trying to overthrow this government from the inside? I'm wondering every single day. So put that on the table. We'll circle back to that in a little while. So the reason why I titled today's program Facts and the Black Tax, because I've always just kind of noticed something, but I'm looking around the internet and I want to see if there was an index that demonstrates and illustrates with real data and facts and numbers what we see every single day as African Americans. If you are black and live in a city that has a sizable African American community, sizable enough to where there can be demonstrated and pronounced discrimination, where there was de facto and de jure discrimination, where it was overt and it was covert, where this is the black neighborhood and these are the schools in the black neighborhood, and because this is where the black people send their kids to school, let's underfund these schools. Let's reduce the value of the property so there's less property tax dollars. So even if you wanted good teachers and an up-to-date curriculum, you simply can't afford it. Like, if you have a city or a metro area that has that, there's a whole bunch of other social maladies that go along with that. You're going to have higher infant mortality rates. You're going to have lower life expectancy. You're going to have more drug and alcohol use and abuse. You're going to have more people in the criminal justice system. It all kind of goes along. And it's very similar, is it not? It's like either black people in every city and metro area that we live in are just really terrible human beings, or white supremacy works perfectly. It's one or the other. Which one is it? It ain't both. It's one or the other. One's the chicken, one is the egg now. Either black people just suck all the time, just no matter what, or white folks are like, let's use our power to not let them get any advantages. And if they do get some advantages, I don't know, affirmative action or DEI, let's make those things the enemy. Oh, and by the way, let's also punish the Democratic Party and send the military into blue cities and blue states while we're at it. If you're an African American, you know that life is just, it's expensive. and wages don't go up. And it also is documented, and it's fact, that black people we make less money. We do. We're paid less. We're promoted less. We're overlooked often. Now, not every black person. Some black people are fantastic. Some black people will come to your job and take your job just because they're better than you, right? But then there's other black folks that work twice as hard to be half as good that just don't seem to make it. So that same phenomenon, got to work twice as hard to be half as good or twice as hard to be as good, whatever the hell it is. That's an extension of white supremacy too, because black people, even if we have an incredible amount of experience in some area, but if a white person doesn't deem us as credible, our experience means nothing. Because we didn't do it their way. We didn't do it with their system. So it doesn't matter how good we are at something. If we didn't do it under their watchful eye, like they didn't train us, then we're looked at as less than credible. And this is not a unique phenomenon. This is happening everywhere, all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it leads to some particular financial burdens. And I'd like to be able to communicate what those financial burdens are. And I'm going to give you some details of these financial burdens, but I want to do so academically. This is not based on emotion or how I feel. I was looking for a racial financial burden index. I know that in a bunch of different regards, African Americans are charged more money. If we, as a community of people in a nation, have lower credit scores than our less melanated counterparts, getting a loan is going to cost us more money. We're going to have to pay a higher interest rate because we are a higher credit risk. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about the large number of African Americans, millions of black people that don't have a bank account, don't use banking services at all. And then I was astonished when I found out that some check cashing places are charging people 10, 15, 20% to cash their paychecks because so many of us are unbanked. That adds up, right? Those fees. Or if you do like a title loan, if you need money in a pinch and you got to put your car title up, and if you can't pay the money back, they own your car. That creates a transportation burden. We also know that we do have transportation burdens, whether it be the number of black men in particular that are unlicensed drivers or jobs leaving cities in favor of exurban and suburban office parks that are way out in the suburbs. And sometimes public transportation does not run out to those areas. So that's an additional financial burden. Or maybe something like a food desert. It's not a lot of grocery stores in certain communities or certain zip codes where the population is predominantly African American. And people have to travel further distances, which is an increased financial burden. But people might be more likely to rely on, let's say, like a convenience store or those neighborhood corner stores or bodegas, as they call them out in New York, that overcharge for everything. That's a financial burden, too. I looked at something like, these are things that I just know off the top of my head, but none of this was put in a table somewhere where I could just illustrate the financial burden on African Americans. Remembering that our incomes are lower and we own less houses. We have less investments, we have less money in savings, and we have less equity, which you can directly trace back to the fact that African Americans could not buy houses in the neighborhoods in which home values went up higher than surrounding areas. All of this stuff contributed to our situation we're in right now. This is not all black people, okay? Some of us are doing fine. But because we are in such close proximity to one another, in fact, the New York Times said in 2018, Milwaukee is one of the only cities in the country where African Americans who are living in poverty and making minimum wage are more likely to live right next door to a black person who makes $150,000 a year. It was a phenomenon that even shocked the New York Times. Even when black people have money, for some reason, we still don't run away from the black community. I don't really know why that is. Oh, some of y'all have. My stupid ass grew up in Brown Deer, and I came back to the hood. Should have stayed. Well, no, because now Brown Deer is Black Deer. It's homicides in Brown Deer now and stuff. If you live in certain zip codes, you pay a lot of money for car insurance. Every so often for sugar, honey, iced teas, and giggles, I just check different car insurance companies just to see if I can get a lower rate. No, it's expensive. I live in one of those zip codes. And a lot of you that live in a 53205, 06, 53210, 53233, you really can't afford insurance in 53233, 53218, 532, what's another one? 53216, 53224, very expensive car insurance rates compared to a 53001 or 53003 or 50078. Cheap car insurance, those are white zip codes. And please don't ask me why I know black and white zip codes by heart. I guess I've been doing this work a long time. I got to memorize. So I'm adding all this stuff up. Far too many of us are unbanked, have to rely on check cashing places, which charge a fee. If you live in a majority black neighborhood, which the New York Times says if you're in Milwaukee, chances are you do, you are less likely to own a home, less likely to own equity. You're going to pay more money for car insurance, right? If you have a lower credit score, if you want to get a loan, you're going to be paying a higher interest rate, which is more money out of your pocket over the long term. And on top of that, we make less money. There is a financial burden to being black. Now, this is something that policy is supposed to address. We are over here thinking that our mayor is supposed to stop crime. How? When you won't listen to them anyway. So what I want policymakers to do, and I'm going to provide this information to anybody who wants, I even created a chart. Had a lot of time on my hands this morning. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to describe to you in no uncertain terms facts, objective facts, with data and statistics, that it costs more money in basically every area of life to be an African American. This is assumed that you have a job and you go to your job every day and you're working very, very hard. And let's say you make okay money. On paper, $75,000 might look okay. If you are a white single person living in a white suburban, ex-urban community and you're single, no kids, making $75,000 a year, that's pretty cool for you. But if you are black and live in a central city, in a majority black neighborhood where your costs are going to be higher, that $75,000 is more like $50,000. Let's talk about it. The title of the show today, even though we talked about Trump our first hour, is Facts and the Black Tax. And this is what our policymakers should be focused on. I wish that the alders and the mayor and the county executive and the county supervisors were working in concert with even members of the school board and the Wisconsin state legislature from both damn political parties, Democrats and Republicans, to say, like, wait, we need to analyze why African Americans have so much higher of a financial burden, even if they are working full time and our wages are lower, which we know because of discrimination and lack of promotion, et cetera. We need to do something about that. This is what policymakers, this is what the damn president is supposed to be working on. We at the neighborhood and community level can put together the best strategies to fight crime. And a lot of it is just snitching on your kids if you want crime to go down, to be honest. That's not anything that the mayor should be doing, because the mayor can't tell you to not shoot somebody because you'll probably shoot the mayor. So that's small potatoes. I want to know what we can do to address the fact that being black, being born black, which is no fault of your own. If you had a black mama and a black daddy and they drank some Hennessy, you know what I mean, and got frisky and humped, well, then there you go. They created you. Bunch of y'all are Hennessy babies. But it's not fair if you're born a Hennessy baby that you're going to have a heavier financial burden on your back just because you've got two black parents. We'll talk about that on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this
Congratulations.
Woo!
God is good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because my nephew just passed away.
Oh.
So I'm going to get them some clothes.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
It's 101.7 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Gina Della and her team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin always have the winning game plan. Check out the championship caliber play call this month. A whole house of beautiful, new, energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month, and get this, 0% interest for up to 60 months. That's like running a drive that keeps moving the chains with no penalties and no interest. And I can tell you from my experience, Pella windows actually stop the drafts. You'll stay comfortable no matter how cold it gets outside. Think about it. Energy savings, comfort, and a great monthly payment you can actually manage. That's why I trust Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and why this is the right time to make your move. Call today and schedule your free consultation at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 10/31 of 2025.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. We are nearly 1 million strong and growing stronger every day. Join us on Saturday, October 11th at 8 a.m. at Summerfest Southgate as we come together for the Making Strides of Milwaukee Walk. Whether you walk for a survivor, in the memory of a loved one, or to support the American Cancer Society, you bring us closer to a future free from breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country right here in Milwaukee? Sign up for free today at www.makingstrideswalk.org/MilwaukeeWI.
Milwaukee College Prep, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dream. Join me, Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 23rd at Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education is accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee. Enjoy food, drinks, and a chance to learn more. Purchase tickets at 2025 takeastand.givesmart.com. That's 2025 takeastand.givesmart.com.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
My commercial break. Yeah. Yeah. Watch out. Yeah. Come on. Here we go. Turn me up, son. My name is Sherwin Hughes, and I like to wear blue shoes. I win, I can't lose. I like to read the news. On the radio, I don't like shady hoes. My beard, it does grow on and on till the break of dawn. His name is Rick. Sometimes he pulls a trick like a rabbit out of a hat. Rick used to have a big back. Now his back is smaller. He's still taller than most people. Churches and steeples. Sherwin Hughes on the mic. Sometimes I ride a bike. Psych, no I don't. I like to go far in my electric car. What? Go far. I like to go far in my electric car. Woo! All right then. That was rude to do that. You hated on my my rap.
Dookie.
Those are the EMT twins that are ribbing my beautiful freestyle yesterday. Let me tell you about the power of artificial intelligence. I created that beat that I was rapping over during a commercial break, and I came up with that freestyle off the top of the dome. And let me tell you another bit of irony. So that was posted to Facebook. And so I don't sign into Facebook on the studio computer because if I happen to forget to sign out, which is common, then I don't want people that are using this computer to have access to my Facebook, right? So when I sent myself the link to the studio computer because I wanted to play that freestyle, Benjamin's login credentials are still on this computer. It's like, Ben, I'm not going to go through your stuff. But his credentials were already saved, so in order to play that, I had to log in with Benjamin Hooks' Facebook. Shout out to Benjamin. It's amazing. Or however he says it. All right, let's get back to the matter at hand now. I'm hoping that by talking about and providing information on what I'm calling a racial financial burden index, policymakers will look at that and then begin to come up with solutions to what is an extremely complex problem. And at the end of the day, and I don't care what your racial thoughts and sentiments are, I don't care. It isn't fair that if someone is an African American, that things cost them more. And it's not through any fault of their own. There is a financial burden. Even if the financial burden is 5%, it's not fair. Why should you be subjected to higher fees, higher interest rates, higher car insurance rates, higher transportation costs, whatever, because you are African American? So I wanted to create, because I looked on the internet for one, and there wasn't one. Like, there's information on like how much more it costs an African American because we're unbanked and have to use a check cashing place. And then you can do the math on, well, if you're an African American and you live in a certain zip code, here's how much your car insurance premium is over 6 months versus someone who, same driving record, same driving record and same vehicle. How if you're black and live in a certain zip code, same driving record, same vehicle, you're going to pay more money. Do you know that not only can car insurance companies look at your credit score, which I think it's illegal. I'm not sure. It should be illegal if it's not. If it is illegal, nobody's enforcing it. They're only supposed to insure the vehicle. Do you know that? It's just the vehicle. The vehicle and your driving record. They're not supposed to ask you your employment status, how much money you make. They ask all that stuff, don't they? That stuff is illegal. They're profiling you. And they're setting your rate based on your profile and based on arbitrary factors, not on the fact of you're a good driver or not. Okay. How many extra dollars or how many more times? How many times more is the burden that African Americans face? So the racial financial burden index that I created is what I'm going to call a composite metric. For each major cost or penalty area, credit, loans, insurance, banking, convenience, etc., I computed a burden factor, which is the typical cost for a black consumer divided by the typical cost for a white or the benchmark group, then aggregated the data into an index. All right, here we go. Credit and loan pricing premiums. Because African Americans have lower credit scores or risk metrics, we get charged higher interest rates or we are denied credit. So an example burden would be the black versus white. So 1.10 means we pay 10% more. 1.20 means we pay 20% more. Studies show that credit scoring penalizes those with weaker credit scores more often. This disproportionately impacts black people. Auto and car insurance, this one is a huge one. So when we compare our auto insurance, same car, same driver, same driving record. Right? Well, not the same driver, but different race, but the same vehicle, same driving record. The burden is 1.46, meaning black people pay 46% more for car insurance. And some time ago, I suppose that would not have been a big deal, but in 2000, oh boy, 01 maybe, 02? Who was governor? Tommy? Was Tommy governor or was McCallum governor? They made it a state law that you had to have car insurance. Did you guys know that you did not have to have car insurance to purchase a vehicle in Wisconsin? Now, it's a good idea to have it, but some people would say, look, I need this vehicle, I need this transportation to be able to get to the job so I can make some money, so I can pay for insurance. They would let you purchase and drive a vehicle without mandatory car insurance. And when they made car insurance mandatory, they immediately started hiking up the rates on African Americans. I sometimes think, just like how northern states, blue states, where, you know, all the colleges and universities are and where all the smart people are, subsidize the poor red states, I think that African Americans subsidize lower car insurance rates for white people. They say that we drive reckless. You ever see a soccer mom cutting through the lanes of a Target parking lot, holding her damn latte in her left hand, steering with her knee, and on her cell phone with her right hand? You ever seen that before? That's a reckless driver. Slow down, Nancy. Seriously, Heather. You're driving like a maniac. Insurance companies use credit data and risk scoring and price higher in minority neighborhoods for drivers with poor credit, which is not fair. You know what else isn't fair? An employer can ask you for your credit score. I don't like that. They say that by looking at your credit score, they can determine on whether you're a responsible employee or not. That doesn't mean that at all. You could have been out of work because AI took your job, or your job went overseas, or you were downsized, and maybe you were a little late on paying your bills, and your credit score took a dive, and then an employer asking for your credit score can use that as an excuse to not hire you. I hate it, and I think you should sue every employer that asks you for your credit score, especially if you're denied the job. Because who is more likely to have a lower credit score? Black people. You can't say, I don't want to hire you because you're black. You can say, oh, I'm sorry, your credit score wasn't an 810. We can't hire you. A recent analysis found that black drivers pay about 46% more than what white drivers pay in many markets for car insurance. Also, insurers in minority neighborhoods may charge more on similar risk. The Consumer Federation of America argues that the use of credit in insurance pricing perpetuates racial inequality. And then you have higher cost credit, payday loans, and title loans due to a lack of access to mainstream banking. Now, this is not all, but some. African Americans are more reliant on predatory credit, higher fees, and interest. Credit access studies show that people of color, especially African Americans, are more likely to use payday or subprime credit. Also, black and Hispanic borrowers are more likely to be subject to debt collection judgments. Then there's the lack of savings and what we call a liquidity cushion. Smaller savings equals more exposure to emergency borrowing or high interest rate credit. For example, white Americans have an average transaction account, was this really, holy smokes, of $80,000? That can't be right. Is that right? Let me double check that math. White Americans have average transaction balances of $80,000. Wait a minute! Dear white friends, you have $80,000 in your checking account just chilling? Damn! No, you've been lying to me. Y'all are paying for dinner.
Play broke, stay rich.
First of all, I wouldn't even feel comfortable with $80,000 in my checking account. I'd have to move that money somewhere safer. I put it in equities. I would buy dividend-paying ETFs that use a covered call strategy, $80,000. And when it says black people, so this is all black folks averaged, have $13,000 combined in our checking accounts. That's between $80,000 for white people and $13,000 on average for black people. The median black household wealth is $44,900 versus the median white wealth of $285,000. But that's, you know what that is? That's the equity in their houses that they got from their mama and their daddy and their grandparents. Unbelievable. Banking unbanked penalty, convenience store premium. Because some African Americans are unbanked or underbanked, they pay check cashing fees, higher convenience markups, or limited retailer choice. That's an index of 1.2 to 1.5. So being black in those regards, you're going to pay between 20 and 50% more for check cashing fees. Anecdotal and empirical evidence shows that unbanked consumers pay fees for basic financial services like check cashing and money orders. Also, reliance on local convenience stores rather than discount wholesale stores tends to have higher markups. I've never been to a Costco. Don't you have to, pass a background check or something? You can't just walk into a Costco, can you? You got to have a membership or something.
That's how I felt about Sam's Club. I thought I was with the suburbians. Thought I was rich.
You're not.
I know.
Yeah, Rick just looked down. I know, I'm not.
But it was. I'm buying everything in bulk. I'm like, y'all sell these here?
I don't really. The only thing I really buy in bulk is paper towel, toilet paper. I don't really buy. It's just me. You know what I mean? If I buy a 12-pack of paper towels, it's going to last me 2 months. And it's cheaper, obviously, but it's also more expensive of an outlay at that moment in time. So I rarely buy in bulk if I do. It's stuff that I know I'm going to use a lot of. Okay, I'm going to take a break, come back, and I'm going to continue calculating. I've actually got some numbers of how much more it actually costs black people just to exist. And this is what I want policymakers to focus on because it is unfair. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, now with more freestyle. On 101.7 The Truth, we'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Your home has been working hard for you. Now it's time to let it work a little harder. With a home equity line of credit from Brewery Credit Union, you can turn the equity you've built into smart solutions. Pay off high-interest debt, remodel your kitchen, or take care of life's unexpected expenses with flexible access to funds when you need them. Apply today and put your home's value to work for you. Visit brewerycu.com or stop by Brewery Credit Union. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by NCUA.
Your big night deserves more than just music. Prom, homecoming, graduation, weddings, corporate gatherings. Every occasion deserves a soundtrack that elevates the moment. I'm Kyrie, DJ Ree Maniac Brooks, community leader and your dedicated DJ. From the very first consultation to the last track, I'll make sure every detail aligns with your vision. For more information about how you can make your event unforgettable, visit www.djreemaniac.com. That's www.djreemaniac.com. Make your event an experience with DJ Ree Maniac.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 101.7 The Truth.
I want you to really stress the importance of having an ethnically diverse blood supply. But I guess, what do you say to people that, for whatever reason, are apprehensive about giving blood?
It's not by accident that we are building this fixed donation site right in the heart of this Halyard Park, Harambe neighborhood. And to your point, our black and brown donors probably represents the smallest demographic in our donor base. That's attributed to multiple reasons. For those of us that understand the history, there is a lot of underlying mistrust of the healthcare system. And quite frankly, there's already challenges with how busy people are, how accessible they are to even know where to go to donate blood. And let's face it, a lot of folks are scared of needles, right? But when they get through all of that, the importance, I think, is a heavier burden on our black and brown communities, because there are a lot of different blood diseases that require what I'll call more of a match in blood that only comes from people of similar ethnicities. Something that's specific to our black donors and patients is something that I think your listeners are very familiar with: sickle cell disease. The only therapy that get them through their day-to-day life is blood transfusions. And it's not just what I'll call average or normal blood type or blood transfusion. It's actually a specific blood with a specific type called RO blood. And this RO blood typically only comes from people of African descent and Hispanic descent. And so that's why it's so important that our donor base is diverse, so that it helps our ethnically diverse patient population.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
CJ said, no more freestyles. It's because you're a racist. Don't you hit... You know what? Hold on.
Don't do it. Not to this beat especially.
I'll freestyle anything. I'll do it a cappella. But I won't. I got stuff I got. Your beat might be too complicated, Zach. I need a simple beat. I got stuff I'm talking about. Now you want me to freestyle. See there? I will never make a fool of myself on my show. Let me tell you why. Because I have made a fool of myself on the show before, and they were some of the most listened to and popular and talked about shows in the history of radio. It's not possible. And plus, I'm not afraid of making a fool of myself, because who cares? I've screwed up some shows before, and guess what I say? I'll try it again tomorrow. I get paid either way. My shows don't have to be good for me to get paid. I'm paid for the attempt. There was a good one. Just like Giannis. I had a very bad game. It's terrible. I had a very bad game. He's still going to, how much Giannis make per game? $100,000? He's still going to make the same amount of money. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Get back to the black tax. All right, here we go. So an example of hypothetical weights, suppose we look at each component equally for simplicity and take the average burden multiplier. So credit and loan pricing, the black burden is 1.15, meaning we pay 15% more than our white counterparts for loans, higher interest rates, and lower credit scores. Auto insurance, which is the biggest one of the biggest ones, we pay 46% more on average. Payday and predatory loans, 50% more. Lack of savings and lack of liquidity means 50% more if we have to borrow emergency money at higher interest rates. Being unbanked, there's a premium for that, which is 30% more to borrow money and to all the check cashing places, etc. Home finance and insurance, 10% more. Debt collection and the legal penalties, 39% more. The interpretation, the racial financial burden index is 1.36 on average. An African-American household pays 36% more dollars compared to the baseline white household. And we do not make 36% more money. In fact, we may make 36% less. Now you can see the need for affordable housing, because how does this financial burden, which does exist for African Americans, now maybe not as severe or exacerbated in some of these categories, where for some black families that maybe they own a home, have some equity, but they're still paying way too high of car insurance. Or you have some black families, maybe they're renting, but they have a lack of savings. So if an emergency comes up, they're forced to borrow at higher interest rates. Or you have some black families that might pay a reasonable amount for car insurance, but then they are in a tremendous amount of debt and they're paying interest on the debt. So of all the different categories, black people are paying more. And it's going to impact the rising cost of housing. Rents are insane. I recently had a friend that was looking for an apartment, and she was like, oh, $1,300 isn't bad for a one-bedroom. I said, are you nuts? I can't, for her, she was like, oh, that's reasonable. If I had to give a landlord $1,300 every month to live, first of all, I would write a paper check. And in the memo, I would write profanity. I would.
I mean, it's reasonable in this day and age, though.
It's too much. And it's going to go up. It's not guaranteed that what's $1,300 today is going to be $1,100 next year or $900. Where your mortgage, if you have a $1,300 mortgage right now with a 7% 30-year fixed interest rate, if interest rates go down 2 points, which they will the next couple of years, your $1,300 interest rate is now $1,100. If it goes down to 3%, now you're paying $800 a month. Where rents are always on an upward trajectory and you don't own anything, there's no equity. Unless you're stupid rich, then you can rent. If you don't want the burden of owning a home and you have enough money to pay rent no matter what the rent is, okay, that's different. But most people don't make that kind of money or have that kind of money. So we're looking at a 1.3 per 6 index. The index, the average African-American household faces a 30 to 50% higher financial burden across a basket of loans, insurance, premiums, fees, and legal risk, meaning for every $100 paid by others, black families pay between $130 and $150 for equivalent services or coverage. And this doesn't include, like, if you get a parking ticket, right? Or if you can't go to work for a couple of days and you don't have sick pay or vacation time. So now your check is going to be less, but your financial burden is still higher. Imagine two households, one white, one black. They have the same income and driving record, but because of credit, insurance, and access issues, the black household pays $400 more per year in auto insurance, $300 more per year in loan interest, and hundreds more in check cashing or predatory loans. And this is more likely to be hit by debt collection expenses. Over a lifetime, this adds up to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of more dollars that an African American will have to pay just because they're black. Take a break, come back, continue the conversation. I'm also going to post there's a graphic, an infographic that I created that shows this in a color-coded fashion, comparing the different races and how much more African Americans pay just for regular daily life and regular services that we're sometimes required to have by law. And I do hope there's a policymaker that finds this worthy of further investigating and what we can do to at least mitigate these costs in one area, if not all of them. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, Truth fam. This is your girl, Melanie Ricks, and I want to remind you to tune into Nothing But the Truth digital show with me, Melanie Ricks, presented by Visit Milwaukee. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., a new episode drops on the 1017 The Truth YouTube page. And since it is on YouTube, I hold nothing back. I give you all my hot takes on celebrity gossip and give you the tea on relationships that you don't want to miss. Subscribe to 1017 The Truth on YouTube so you never miss Nothing But the Truth digital show, dropping every Wednesday at 6 p.m., presented by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
School's back in session. Kids have their backpacks, school supplies, and new clothes. But are you ready as a parent? Families are the single most important factor in a child's academic success. This year, get to know your child's teachers. Stay engaged with their learning. Don't be shy about asking questions along the way. Because as a parent, you are your child's first and most important teacher. Learn more about how City Forward Collective is helping families, students, and schools thrive at cityforwardcollective.org.
It's 101.7 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Gina Della and her team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin always have the winning game plan. Check out the championship caliber play call this month. A whole house of beautiful, new, energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month, and get this, 0% interest for up to 60 months. That's like running a drive that keeps moving the chains with no penalties and no interest. And I can tell you from my experience, Pella windows actually stop the drafts. You'll stay comfortable no matter how cold it gets outside. Think about it. Energy savings, comfort, and a great monthly payment you can actually manage. That's why I trust Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and why this is the right time to make your move. Call today and schedule your free consultation at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 10/31 of 2025.
Junior Achievement is proud to team up with the Admirals to help young people build the skills they need to win in school, in work, and in life. Thank you to the Milwaukee Admirals for supporting JA programming and for giving our students a power play toward a brighter future. To learn more, visit wisconsin.ja.org.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm telling you, AI don't miss, Rick. It don't miss.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
Shut up. I'm surrounded by all this hate. All right. Let's see what we got here. Racial financial burden index. Credit and loans. African Americans pay 15% more. Auto insurance, 46% more. Predatory credit, 50% more. Liquidity and savings or lack thereof penalty, 50% more. I also found out the average white person in this country has got $80,000 in their checking account. What? Why do y'all still dress that way then? You know what? No offense. Oh, Rick, shut up. You know they dress terrible. Think about us. We will be broke as a joke, $8.19 in the checking account, Okay? Rent is 3 days overdue. But our Dookies, perfect, fresh. They were the most run over, cracked, dirty, stained Air Force Ones I've ever seen, but got $80,000 in the checking account. Make it make sense.
Stay broke. Look broke, stay rich.
I guess.
Look at my shoes.
No. What kind of shoes you got on? Let me see. Ugh. What does that mean? Zach's are worse.
But I got that bread in my account, you feel me?
Let me see how much you got.
I got about $800 in the checking just alone.
All right. Ooh,
I'll talk about my savings, though.
Oh, snap. $800. We might have to worry about Rick just fleeing to Mexico. We may never see him again. $800.
But I still got like 3 more paydays coming, so.
All right. Well, if your bills are paid and you got any money left over, right, that's what's important.
Got a paycheck coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Oh, snap. That $800 going to be $950. Yeah, buddy. The burden factor should ideally be based on local and regional data. So, from the assessment that I put together, this could be higher in another city than it is in Milwaukee. So let's see what we have from Milwaukee. Recent studies show that Milwaukee is one of the cities where car insurance premiums vary sharply by zip code demographics. Zips with fewer white residents may pay up to $364 more per year compared to more white-dominated zip codes. Like, that's disgusting to me. So we got to have more white people live in our zip codes for our car insurance to go down. But here's the burden with that. More white people move in. Now the property values go up. So, yes, we'll pay less in car insurance, $364 per year. Like, this is egregious to me. Let me read this again. Recent studies show Milwaukee is one of the cities where car insurance premiums vary sharply by zip code demographics. Zips with fewer white residents may pay up to $364 more per year compared to more white-dominated zip codes. When we talk to white people about race and we bring up things like white privilege, a white person doesn't see this. They don't even think that their financial burdens are easier just because of their lack of melanin. And they'll say, oh, Sherwin, I had to work hard to get everything that I got. I'm not saying that you didn't, but there are costs that you don't incur because you're white. And stop making this about driving record, because it's not about driving record. The credit and lending access gap in the Milwaukee metro area. White residents account for 70% of the population, but receive 81% of the home loans, whereas African Americans, or 16% of the metro area, receive only 4% of the home loans. So the metro area is not just the city. It's not just the county. So I think our metro area is, for white residents to be 70% of the statistical area we're talking about, that's got to be Milwaukee County, Ozaukee, Washington, Waukesha. I don't know if they would include Racine or Dodge County, but that sounds about right. So Milwaukee County, which is about half, a little less than maybe 40% black. Ozaukee County, which is 5% tops. Waukesha County, maybe 20%. Washington County, maybe 7% black, so I guess that makes some sense. In the Milwaukee metro area, white residents account for 70% of the population but receive 81% of the home loans, whereas African Americans, or 16% of the metro area's population, receive only 4% of home loans. Further, black applicants in Milwaukee are 1.7 to 3.7 times more likely to be denied mortgages compared to white applicants, even if the African American has a higher income level. Young adults in majority black communities tend to have credit scores that are 67 points lower on average than peers in majority white areas, limiting access to favorable credit terms. Well, that could be the mortgage denial right there. 67 points lower. Can we ask people on YouTube what their credit scores are? I'm so curious. They're just going to lie. If I ask you guys to post into YouTube, is that a personal question? Maybe it's personal. Ricky, I don't want to ask yours. I might cry. It might be sad. Nothing. Go back to what you was doing. None. Zach, what's your credit score? Zach shrugged. He was like, I don't know, 19, a 32, a 409. On average, an African American. That is crazy. 67 points? I got good credit score. Well, it is now. Ain't no telling what may happen. All right. This is insane to me. So if a white household spends $1,000 on insurance, which includes interest, fees, etc., the equivalent black household, where everything is equal, spends $1,360 for the same basket of insurance services. So that's why when the mayor proposed a wheel tax in his budget, it's not going to pass. If you take into account, and that's why people are getting frustrated with all these referendums. You guys notice the racial divide on some of the referendums that we've had when it comes to MPS? They're white people. The last referendum that we had where there was public outcry against it because there was town hall meetings and a bunch of y'all showed up. I think that was in 2024. It was. The spring of 2024, we had a bunch of town hall meetings because working class people, especially black folks, feel the financial burden, this black tax. And so the increase in property taxes, where even if you rent, your rent is going to go up if there's an increase in property taxes, to give MPS more money was disproportionately felt by African Americans. There was a racial divide on the referendum, this most recent referendum. White people voted higher, which is crazy because white folks don't even really send their kids to MPS. They send their kids a lot of times to private schools. It's only a handful of MPS schools that have a majority. I don't know if there's any, actually. There might be an elementary school here or there, but I don't know if there are many MPS schools, Milwaukee public schools in the MPS district, that are majority white. So what white people sometimes do to absolve themselves from their white guilt is they'll say, oh no, the black kids at MPS need more money for the school books. I'm going to vote yes on the referendum, not knowing that when they voted yes on the referendum to do their feel-good deed as a white person, they are putting more financial burden on African Americans that have higher costs for a variety of different services that white people don't even see and recognize. If you're driving through Milwaukee, insurance quotes in your zip code cost $400 more just because your zip code is majority black. You apply for a standard auto or personal loan, identical credit profile, but your interest rate is 1 to 2 points higher because your credit score is modestly lower. You don't have a full-service bank nearby, so you cash a check at a storefront for a fee. You don't own a home, or when you do, the mortgage terms are harsher, and property value appreciation is lower in your neighborhood. And if you fall behind, legal and collection fees stack more heavily together. That's a hidden surcharge you're paying 30, 35, 40% more in cumulative costs just for being black in Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Racial Financial Burden Index is not just a number, it's a spotlight on systemic inequality in our city's financial fabric. Policy levers to reduce this burden include banning or limiting the use of credit scores and auto insurance pricing. 2, expanding fair lending oversight and enforcement. 3, strengthening banking access in underserved neighborhoods. 4, capping fees in payday and title lending. And 5, reforming collection practices to reduce blow-ups. And also taking away the damn wheel tax that the mayor is proposing in his 2026 city budget. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back for Hour 3.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join Truth to Power this Friday, October 10th from noon until 1 p.m. as I will be broadcasting live from Steinhoffel's in Waukesha. For 91 years, Steinhoffel's has been Wisconsin's local 100% employee-owned furniture and mattress leader. And right now, celebrate their friends and family sale with 10% off store-wide or 36 months of 0% financing. Plus, you get $91 off every $9.99 you spend. I can't wait to see you at Steinhoffel's in Waukesha this Friday.
Truth Nation, it's time to elevate the conversation at our second annual Truth Summit happening Saturday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Thrive on King. This free in-person roundtable dives deep into Milwaukee's most pressing issues, from bridging the healthcare divide to rebuilding our educational pipeline. Join me, Dr. Ken Harris, and expert guests for powerful insights and lively debate you won't hear anywhere else. Reserve your spot at 1017thetruth.com. Sponsored by 1MKE and Thrive on King.
Where strong voices meet strong opinions.
Tell your kids who were supposed to be the seventh generation that Paw Paw's an idiot because Paw Paw decided he wanted to be Make America Great, but meanwhile, the Chinese ain't buying soybeans from us no more because of policies Donald Trump put in, and they voted for us. You know, I don't know what we're gonna do. I know what you should have did. You should have voted for somebody that wasn't gonna put tariffs out there. I love God, but God can't save you from nonsense. You don't deserve a bailout. You can't sit here and vote one way, and then when your economy gets decimated, your way of life gets destroyed, you want to pray to God? God didn't tell you to go to that poll and vote against your own best interest. That was your own damn problem. That was you. But don't ask for prayer when you block your own blessing. That's why I don't feel bad for these farmers. You voted for this, and now you reap what you sow.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace, every weekday from 12 to 1. Streaming live on YouTube and on 1017 The Truth.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. Locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Sound like something from a 2000 movie. Sorry,
like a chase scene. Robert, look out, they're coming. Where are they coming from? Get your gun. Run. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, hour 3. Ooh, I like that. That's hot. Ooh. Come on. Ooh. And I can play these songs for an unlimited amount of time because there's no YouTube copyright on these. I know this is a good song. I gotta remember this prompts that I used. You can just come up with any kind of prompt and it'll make a song. Like if you guys said, hey, Sherwin, make a song that's got a melodic bass and a xylophone and a flute and a hi-hat, it'll come up with 2 songs that utilize that prompt. And then there's like a little slider where you can create a song that is real, like perfectly specific to the terms you use, or if you slide the slider to the left, AI will use its own creativity in interpreting those words a little less literally, and it's a lot of fun. It also is a tremendous waste of time. I'm not kidding y'all. Hell, I made 30 songs between yesterday and today, so I probably have, and not to mention Blue Mist, topping the charts.
Did you get that link that I sent you?
Where'd you send her that? What is it?
In your text earlier this morning?
Oh, the AI with Dr. Martin Luther King?
Yes.
I love those. They have a bunch of them where Dr. King is like a gangster.
Yeah, I seen those too.
So the kind of AI, so I use a couple of different programs. I'm not able to do deep fakes. So deep fakes are actually, I don't know if they're illegal yet, but they can get you in a lot of trouble. So a deep fake is someone's actual likeness, their picture, and then you can make it say whatever you type, but it's in their voice. The AIs that I use do not allow me to do that. They use a fake computer-generated voice because you can get in a lot of trouble because you can create an AI of like the president and make the president say something incriminating or illegal or disgusting, and clearly the president didn't actually say it. But if you post it online, people will legitimately believe it, and that kind of stuff can go viral. So thankfully, the AI programs that I use, and I'm not telling you which one I use. Well, I'll tell you one, because everybody uses this one. ChatGPT. You know who put me on a ChatGPT? Benjamin. 2 years ago. He said, hey, yo, Sherwin, you can use ChatGPT for that. I was like, what now? Like, I heard of it, but he actually explained it to me in a way where it made sense on how to use it. First, people will use something like ChatGPT as like Google. Don't use it like Google. Use Google for Google. If you want real, specific, detailed, fortified responses that are sometimes too complicated to even read, that's what you use ChatGPT for. You can do stuff like, let's say you want to lose weight, lower your blood pressure, lower your cholesterol, get better sleep, and have more energy during the day. Let's say those are your health goals, right? You can take a damn picture of what is in your refrigerator, and ChatGPT will tell you what recipes you can make with the ingredients in your refrigerator that meet all your health goals. Not to mention, let's say you do have whatever those health goals are that I just mentioned. You can say, hey, ChatGPT, put together a grocery list for me and some easy recipes where I can be healthier, lower my blood pressure, my cholesterol, get better sleep, and have more energy during the day, and just feel better overall. It will tell you recipes. It is just, Google can't do that. Now, Google is moving in that direction, but it's not quite there yet. And so another thing that is happening, which I wish a few more of us would pay attention to, which I guess that's rich coming from me, because if I want people to pay attention to stuff, all I have to do is talk about it. The way the artificial intelligence revolution is creating more wealth in the stock market is something that none of us should be missing. But I'm disappointed, though, that the people in, where was it at? The Microsoft, the data center, that the idiots just voted down. No, I shouldn't call people idiots. The problem is, people are afraid of large-scale developments, and they have their reasons for that. Nobody wants this stuff in their backyard. Well, it's going to go in somebody's backyard, and there were plenty of jobs that could have been created, but people were worried about, it's going to take a bunch of fresh water. You're not drinking that water anyway. As many half-drank plastic water bottles as I see people leave, why are you concerned about the amount of water that a data center is going to use to keep the computer servers cool? Where do you think all your data is being stored? These damn 500 songs that I created, they're stored in these data centers. All the data that we are going to be collecting and creating and curating with artificial intelligence, what do you think your cloud is? Your cloud is a damn data center. We're going to have to build them. Otherwise, we are going to hit a wall, and we're not going to be able to store pictures of our damn food anymore. So I guess it was at a meeting town hall meeting last night where they voted down the data center. I think probably in Racine. That sounds like something Racine people would do. But another example would be when they built that development called Century City. It's on like 35th and Townsend, like 35th and Capitol Drive area, where it used to be a part of A.O. Smith would store the auto frames in that area that they built Century City. And Century City was supposed to be like a job hub where employers were going to come in. And then you guys remember the whole debacle with the meatpacking plant, where there are very few jobs in that area. There used to be a time where you could walk to work if you lived in the area of 27th and Capitol because A.O. Smith was right there. That was a strong African-American working-class neighborhood about 60 years ago, 50 years ago even. And now there's not very much. There's basically fast food and service sector jobs over there, which don't pay enough. And so I can't remember the name of the company. I'm sure one of you will. Strauss Meat Packing Company wanted to have a slaughterhouse. And they were going to employ a lot of people and pay union wages. And, of course, there was all the people that would be hired in the construction process. And the community, now they were encouraged based on lies and fallacies, misunderstandings and miscommunication. They were threatening the alderperson to block the meat packing plant, which is astonishing to me because African Americans are consumers of meat. And I think that there was some fallacy that, if you have a slaughterhouse or a meat packing facility in the neighborhood, it's going to smell bad. Not true. Modern facilities, there's no smell whatsoever. It just would have been pure job creation in a neighborhood, how ironic is this, that was calling for it for literally decades. But people got mad and they called their alderperson and they showed up at town hall meetings. And now nothing came to replace those jobs that would have been created by that meat packing facility. And I look at that as a loss on a variety of different fronts because that was probably damn near 10 years ago. The number of people that would be gainfully employed even to this day would have made hundreds of thousands of dollars in salary. Some of them would have bought houses and would have equity. Some of them would have sent their kids to college. Some of them could have used that money to start African-American owned businesses in the area. And the income that would have been generated from people working at that meatpacking facility could have done a much better job of supporting local black businesses. So the thing with us and our community, and why everybody says, you got to support black businesses. Black people need income so that we can use the discretionary income to support black businesses. But if you don't have a mainstay of employment, we can't support black businesses with no damn money. And so I look at a loss like that, and there's many others where the public is afraid of a developer coming in. They're afraid of this company coming in, even though people need jobs. It's like people that are jobless will say, oh, my God, we need jobs. And we'll put a lot of burden on our elected officials to bring jobs into a community. And they do. And it's not easy. Because if you just look at, on paper, the city of Milwaukee and what we're going through and some of the bad social indicators, you ain't trying to spend $400-500 million investing in black employees. You're not. You're better off if you're looking at things in terms of return on your investment, you would look at the black community and be like, nah, no thanks. What do you mean? What 30% of the high school seniors can't even read? Nah, no thanks. We'll invest somewhere else like Silicon Valley or Carson City, Nevada. We're not coming to Milwaukee. And then when you finally get a company, a corporation, whatever, to want to invest for decades in an impoverished, jobless community, then the jobless people say, yeah, we want jobs, but not that one. Thinking that another company or corporation will come along, and they don't. And so it's more than just lost wages. You have to look at it as more than just that. With the lack of the opportunities that meatpacking facility would have brought, more cars are going to get stolen, more houses are going to get broken into. There's going to be need for more police. We're going to pay more tax dollars in police overtime. Crime is going to go up. Homicides are going to go up. All of those negative social indicators go up when you have joblessness. So not only did we lose probably at this point millions of dollars of income, which could have created even more jobs and supported more businesses in the area, more black businesses can spring up, because when black people are working, especially working in the neighborhood, you can open up a dry cleaners right there. You can open up a drugstore right there. You can open up a clothing store right there. You can have a dentist's office right there. And all that was lost. And what does that do? It increases the tax base. What does that do? It means we have to have less damn referendums raising the taxes. Well, what does that do? That invests more money in our public school system, so maybe another percentage point or two of these damn kids can learn how to read. We lost all of that. And it's very disappointing because we need to make progress. But people have to stop being afraid of progress in their backyard. Right now, there's nothing in your backyard but poverty and crime. Put a job there. I also think some people don't want to be outed. If you create, let's say, a meat packing facility or whatever the company, it could be a data center in Racine or wherever they were going to build that, at Franklin, I don't know where the hell it was. And they build it. Now all of a sudden, you're forced to have to go apply now, because now there's no excuse. You can't say, oh, there's no jobs in my area. Oh, they just built a $100 million square foot facility 2 blocks away from your house. You better drop that application. And this cuts across racial lines, because I bet you there's plenty of white single mamas that's getting a check and getting child support. They don't want to go to work, and their excuse is, well, child care is just too expensive. And do what we used to do. Pay your auntie $7 to babysit your kids. It's crazy. Hopefully we'll get our lives together. All right, I'm going to take a break. Come back. Trump administration cuts $350 million to minority education programs. Do y'all remember when you were singing Donald Trump's praises because he gave X amount of dollars to historically black colleges and universities? Remember that? Even though it was Congress that appropriated that money to the HBCUs. Well, guess what? Now he's taking it all away. It's so sad. So we'll talk about that. And are you guys familiar with the position called the Inspector General? Inspector General is essentially a government watchdog, and there's an Inspector General that work with essentially every executive federal department to make sure there's no cheating, no malfeasance, no bribery, to make sure the taxpayers are being well represented. Presidents may not like them, but presidents have respected them, and presidents hire them to oversee the activity in, let's say, HUD or the Department of Education or the Department of the Interior or the Pentagon. And they also, these inspector generals, provide a place where whistleblowers can go and report stuff that's going on, you see. Trump has fired all of the inspector generals, which will allow corruption to flourish and blossom in every single federal department. We'll talk about that as well. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, now with more AI. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris go inside Bucks training camp. Find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Gina Della and her team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin always have the winning game plan. Check out the championship caliber play call this month. A whole house of beautiful, new, energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month, and get this, 0% interest for up to 60 months. That's like running a drive that keeps moving the chain games with no penalties and no interest. And I can tell you from my experience, Pella Windows actually stop the drafts. You'll stay comfortable no matter how cold it gets outside. Think about it. Energy savings, comfort, and a great monthly payment you can actually manage. That's why I trust Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and why this is the right time to make your move. Call today and schedule your free consultation at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 10/31 of 2025.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you can save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Sherwin on the mic, better tune in now. Milwaukee flame, he be holding it down. Best in the biz, put respect on the name. Whole nation know he ahead of the game. Sherwin on the mic, better tune in now. Milwaukee flame, he be holding it down. Best in the biz, put respect on the name. Whole nation know he ahead of the game.
Turn the dial up, it's that power in the voice. Sherwin speak truth, he ain't never had a choice. Milwaukee on the map, he connecting all the noise. Talk real, walk real, never playing with the toys. Facts load heavy when he stepped to the plate. Every segment cut deep, he be raising the stakes. While they mumble in the dark, he be sparking debates. Big brain, big heart, got that leader's grace. He the voice of the city and the soul of the street. Truth ride, the baseline, wisdom in the beat. Ain't no filter when the mission is clear. Sherwin Hughes, they respect or they fear.
Village of Caledonia, Wisconsin. Microsoft has decided not to move forward with its proposed site for a data center in the village of Caledonia after facing significant community pushback from residents. So what was the residents' biggest complaint about that? Because we're going to have to put data centers somewhere now. Gonna have to. Y'all keep using the cloud. My stupid ass keeps making music on AI. It's got to get stored somewhere. So we're going to need the data centers. So they're going to get built. Quote, based on community feedback we heard, we have chosen not to move forward with this site. A Microsoft spokesperson said in a statement on Wednesday. Microsoft just partnered with another AI firm where they're going to see like trillions of dollars of new opportunities and revenue over the coming years. Why would we not want to be a part of that? That's the one thing about Wisconsin. A lot of Wisconsin is just backwater, backwoods, and country. It's embarrassing sometimes when you say you're from Wisconsin and you travel anywhere else around this country, they're like, what? Wisconsin? It's only fat people and cows there, which is not a very nice thing to say. But that's all they think is here. And sometimes we don't know the difference between the cows and the fat people, which is rude. But we're not exactly known for being on the cutting edge and being with the state of the art of anything here in Wisconsin. The tech giant's decision comes after hundreds of residents voiced opposition to the project over recent weeks. More than 2,000 people signed a petition opposing rezoning proposals that would have allowed the data center to be built on 244 acres of land. The proposed site was situated on County Line Road and State Highway 32, southwest of the We Energy's Oak Creek power plant, and was surrounded by farmland and residential properties. Despite abandoning this particular location, Microsoft indicated it remains interested in investing in southeastern Wisconsin. The spokesperson said the company looks forward to, quote, working with the Village of Caledonia and Racine County leaders to identify a site that aligns with community priorities and our long-term development goals. So what was the beef? I'm trying to skim through this article to see what the major issue was. This person says, I have a lot of respect for Microsoft making the decision when they say they listen to the constituents. They also listen to board questions, both at Planning Commission and at the board level. I believe they took a lot of different pieces of information into play. And this is an old white lady who was quoted. As the tech giant looks for a new site, there is hope that there are improvements to the overall process, but it doesn't say. So this was from TMJ4. Here's the Journal Sentinel article. Microsoft Corporation has pulled its plans for a Caledonia data center after opposition from area residents and from elected officials. So what is the damn problem? Microsoft is still planning a second data center in Mount Pleasant where there has been little opposition. Well, shout out to Mount Pleasant. You're going to get the jobs and new strip clubs and maybe a new mall. I don't know. Maybe they're going to. The Caledonia Plan Commission had recommended rezoning the data center, 244 acres of farmland along Douglas Avenue and Botting Road near the We Energy's power plant in neighboring Oak Creek. Village trustee Fran Martin, a data center critic, was surprised about the change in plans. Quote, I commend Microsoft for listening to the community, Martin said, and for also addressing the concerns that the community had, that I had about the particular site. Are they not giving any reasons why they didn't want there has to be some pretty damn compelling reasons why people didn't want it. Like noise, pollution, traffic, because they're going to like kill bald eagles or something. It's an eagle habitat. They're always worried, it's the habitat for the spotted owl. Screw the spotted owl. Care about a spotted owl? Oh, we can't kill the habitat for the rough-finched grouse. Screw that grouse. Put some jobs right on his nest. What can I say? I'm for progress and development. Let's talk to Mr. Mahdi. How are you doing?
Hey, God bless my brother. How you doing this morning? We really appreciate you. I just wanted to chime in on the situation with the Microsoft. Okay. You know as well as I know. You know as well as I know. I'm out here now. It's power and position. When you're taking on a large intel like that of the world, you just can't allow them to just come in your space and set up shop and do what they want to do, how they want to do it. Now, how Microsoft got into Wisconsin is Foxconn. Remember, I was building Foxconn. Foxconn sold $100 million worth of land to Microsoft. So Microsoft just got to do their homework, and you just got to go through the proper channels to get what you want. There's a couple of people, I ain't going to say it on air, but me and you will talk about it whenever you get a chance. But there's a couple of people that pull strings that can allow things to happen and can allow things not to happen. So the village people didn't want it. And when you build in Microsoft and you're building big power plants like that, you got to build what we call a lagoon. Because when you release in the water cannot go out into the atmosphere. It has to go into your surrounding area. And that's what we did at Foxconn. So they're not really letting you guys know the logistics, but just like I said, I'm out here and I know the higher ups. So they're not going to stop us. some of us truckers lose the money, but we got other things that I can't talk on here. I'll let you know off air about what we're doing.
Everything ain't a conspiracy, man. You make it seem like everything. What is it?
No,
tell me. I want the names, man. Come on.
Hey, I can't do that, man. They kicked my truck off. That's $250,000 a year my truck will lose. But me, you gonna talk about? You just got to call me on my personal number. You got to promise me you're not gonna be open your mouth, because I got a lot of things I got to talk to you about. But it's wild, man. There's some high tech stuff going on out here, and us truckers, we gotta bounce. We gotta bounce with the ball, man. But it's wild. I got a lot of stuff to talk to you about. But it's power position. They just got the what? The gas station is coming from Texas. What is that? Buy-V or whatever it's called? Yeah, Bucky. So that's going to cut out. That's going to allow a lot of money into Wisconsin. But this what I really let you know. Coming through the pipeline. When we're done over here in Racine with this Microsoft already got other things coming down the pipeline that they promised so many millions and millions of dollars to Wisconsin. Not like Foxconn did. They're going to bring in other Intel companies. That's going to keep. Wisconsin's got a lot of growth coming within the next 20 years. Take it from me, brother.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing what you got.
God bless you.
All right, Mr. Mahdi. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but I can't tell you because of the higher-ups. I'm a truck driver. Well, keep on trucking, you mother trucker, you. Oh, go truck yourself. Go truck off. I don't know. Hoping to have a good weekend. Hopefully I get trucked. Do some trucking. You ever truck in the back seat? Get your truck tricked? Tricking your truck? Truck off. Who's on this mother trucking phone? Let's talk to Steed. Steed. Hi, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Sherwin. Thanks for asking, man. I'm with you. I can't figure for the life of me why we wouldn't want the economic development in Racine. And when you boil it down, I hate to say it, we are still some racist-ass people here in Wisconsin, because with jobs come housing. And with housing, that's what they don't want, because they can't no longer control it like they did in the 60s and 70s. And they just don't. They want to live their life. I seen this piece break on the news the other day, and the only person they could present on there was a woman saying that she takes a certain route to walk her dog every day, and at least that won't be disturbed. So that's the only reason that I even heard on the news. That was usually Channel 12 I usually watch. And that was the only person that said anything about, she's glad it didn't go in. But otherwise, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, it would seem like. Yeah, and that's the only thing I can figure. People want their lifestyle as normal, or in their words, as plain or normal as they're used to, period. They don't want change, So if you don't have the jobs,
right. So
guess what's going to happen? Their grandkids or their great-grandkids, ain't no jobs. What else to do? You're going to be out here on drugs, man. And so be it. Because I don't know if you remember in the news about 7 to 10 years ago, they had in Caledonia where they had some kind of image or like a dummy of a person with a noose around his neck. So they're still prejudice. That's where they're coming from in Caledonia. That's it. Period.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate your call. Mm-hmm. Is it that, or is it if you have been a homeowner in whatever podunk? You see why I've been trying to sell Racine to Chicago, and Chicago don't want to buy it. I've been trying to get rid of Racine for years. I'll sell Racine to anybody, the highest bidder. Starting bid, $9. If you aren't going to partake in the job, like if you're not going to be employed in the construction of the site, if you're not going to work at the data center, if you're not an IT specialist, if you don't see it as an opportunity for yourself, if you're a retiree and you live in your home and like Steve said, this is where I walk my dog, and if they build the data center, I might got to go one more block west. I can't take my same dog walking route. Then you don't really care about development. That makes sense. But also, there's this thing called eminent domain, where the county government can come in and be like, we're about to take this land. Because governments can still usurp property. Now, they got to pay the homeowners fair market value for their properties, but residents, in some cases it works, and Microsoft was being a good team player here, but a lot of times Microsoft has the money to pay the lobbyists to say, hey, County of Racine, use eminent domain and take this 244 acres and zone it for whatever you want, and then we're going to build our plan anyway. Residents be damned. But that didn't happen. Eminent domain can snatch your property from you. If they want to build a highway right through your front door, they will take your house and build the highway. You can't say, no, but my house is here. Eminent domain says, we don't care where your house is. Now, we'll pay you what your house is worth, but we're going to tear it down and build this damn highway. Take a break, come back, grab a couple other telephone calls. I do want to get to this story about Donald Trump firing all of the inspector generals, but I am curious about this Caledonia data center that residents decided they did not want to be built. And it reminds me so much of the Strauss meatpacking plant that was supposed to come to Century City probably 7 or 8 years ago. And I look at the pure deterioration of our community in a rapid clip. And COVID didn't help. COVID did not help. But all of the money lost, the income lost, the revenue lost, the tax dollars lost. We may not have needed the last 2 property tax referenda had they built that meatpacking plant, because the amount of money that Strauss would be paying in property taxes over the long term could be more money than we are now siphoning from taxpayers. And earlier in the program, I talked about the black tax. If you are an African American, your life costs 36% more than your Caucasian counterpart. Now you have to add, and this didn't even include, the index that I came up with did not even include the tax burden on black people. It's why so many folks are moving from Milwaukee. Our taxes are going up here exponentially. And all the other costs are remaining high as well, not to mention the cost of eggs. Aren't eggs expensive? That's why y'all voted for Trump, because eggs were too high. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune in Friday night as 2 of the top teams in the conference go at it as the Hilltoppers take on the Brookfield East Spartans on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Join our coverage starting at 6:30 p.m., leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette Hilltoppers football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, C.G. Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Berghardt Sporting Goods.
It's a bird bash at Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to $50,000 cash in the Bird Bash game show. Just play with your rewards card this October for a chance to win. Wouldn't you like to rake in a huge pile of cash? Bird Bash, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info at potawatomi.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Tory Lowe with his truth.
It's official. July 5th is Tory Lowe Day in the city of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. I am humbled to receive this proclamation from the mayor's office and the county executive's office. To me, this day represents life and purpose and being driven by passion to serve and empower others. It's about being unselfish and answering the call to help those in need and living life with intention. Despite challenges and obstacles, I remain focused on creating real change in my community, county, and state. This recognition isn't about me. It's about the collective efforts of those who supported me along the way. It's about the resilience and determination that defines my journey. As we celebrate this day, I want to leave you with a challenge. What will you do to create positive change in your community? Will you get out and volunteer, mentor, or simply be a support to a friend? Whatever it is, I urge you to take action. Together we can build a brighter future, one that's filled with hope, opportunity, and empowerment. I am honored to serve and I'm grateful for this recognition. Let's continue to uplift and support one another, striving for a better tomorrow. So what does Tory Lowe Day mean to me? Let's make a difference together. Let's stay committed to our purpose and keep pushing forward even in the face of adversity. I'm excited to see the impact we can make, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve alongside such an amazing community. Now, my question is, what does Tory Lowe Day mean to you?
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Listen to The Tory Lowe Show weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Sherwin speak facts, let the real talk begin. Mind like a weapon, every word cut clean. Your host's favorite host, the mic God supreme. No one match the brain, no one match the vibe. Milwaukee truth teller, yeah, we feel that pride. When the people need sense, he the one they call. Sherwin Hughes on the line, that's power, y'all. He the voice of the people, heart of the town.
833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Let's talk to Lisa. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm good, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. What is on your mind today?
Well, on my mind is, well, first shout out. You know what? When I said it was eminent domain, that's the same thing they did with Buc-ee's.
Hold on. Wait, what's it called now?
Woo-hoo. Eminent domain. When you get so much money, you say, shut up, people. Hey, I'm going to buy your land anyway. I don't care what you say. Get off the property. Go about your business. We're going to get what we want. But at least we got a Buc-ee's. Hey. That's sad when the entertainment in Milwaukee is a Buc-ee's. Well, the entertainment in Milwaukee is a boat being stranded.
Lisa, Buc-ee's ain't nowhere near Milwaukee. Pictures. It's on some abandoned, old, been vacant for probably... For my whole life, that area has been vacant farmland. That's way out, but it's on between Racine and Milwaukee County. So that's not Milwaukee.
Well, I'm gonna enjoy going to it because finally,
Lisa, it's a gas station.
Well, I don't know how long it's gonna last.
Help me understand something because people are going. Hold on, Lisa, explain something to me.
Hold on, sir.
I got a question for you. Let me ask the question.
Hold on.
You called me. I asked the questions. Yeah. Lisa, don't make me go on and hang up on you and go to hell now. What is it about this damn gas station where people got the nipples got hard about this damn gas station?
Okay. Well, I've been going there for years because I'm a mother trucker. So I've been going there for years. When you go in there, you get a pleasant welcome. You get a nice welcome. You get people cheering and happy. I don't know how long that's going to last in Wisconsin. I don't know if they got people like that. But you go in there, you get a good atmosphere. You could go in there for, things like for your yard, household things, and they got a great,
Walmart,
from what I heard, great
with gas pumps.
Beef sandwich. You better go check it out.
You can get a sandwich. Get a sandwich anywhere. Go to Subway.
Oh my, no, they got a good. But they cut. You go on down. You stand in line around. They have even a song for it. They cut the beef up. It's a beef sandwich, whatever, and they got a bakery there. They got a lot of food there. You like
song?
Really
you
nice.
Like sandwiches that come with song? I'll write you a beef sandwich song right now.
They get about 30 fountain drinks. Look, some of them even got a amusement park in them. So, y'all, at least we got a Buc-ee's. We do need entertainment. When I sit around and talk to people at the airport, they say, yeah, I didn't go through Milwaukee. Yeah, when you come from Minneapolis and going to Chicago, you're going to go through Milwaukee. You're going to go through Wisconsin. And you know how many people pass us up? You see that TikTok video on that couple that's traveling to Milwaukee? They so happy. We're traveling to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They traveled. They had the video. They eating, and then they took off in the plane. That's their excitement, and that's really sad. Things to do in Milwaukee. Eat and fly out. Come on now. So we know you eat. We know you enjoy that part of Milwaukee.
The hell that's supposed to mean?
We see that part.
Everybody likes to
We see that part of you. I bet your your bottom part is narrow and your big part is humongous.
Lisa, my legs work.
Is that right, Rick?
I can kick somebody in the face. How about you do that? You want to talk about somebody being
somebody
fat?
in the face too. I got a new leg. I can kick you too with my new leg. I don't know what you're talking about. I can kick with both legs. But yeah, motherfuckers, you know, we know we see a lot out there.
Yeah.
We see. Hey, that's me. I can kick it. Kick it with the hot foot. Hey.
Lisa walks in with a hungry glare. Smells of beefy magic hanging in the air.
You gotta be stopped.
Hey.
AI.
Juicy dreams wrapped in toasted bread. Yeah. One bite.
Special.
It's like a mind just fled.
Hey.
How can it be so tender, so bold? A sandwich story that's never been told. Beef so good, it stops the clock. Sandwich so perfect, it makes jaws drop. Lisa loves beef, it's her one true kind. This sandwich is the feast that boggles the mind.
I thought he was going to say something. Let's talk to Al.
Dripping sauce like a masterpiece.
Hi, Al. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and I have not had no drink yet. You know, you brung up taxes. See, the reason why our taxes keep going up because they treat us like tricks and little wild Irish rolls and nickel whores. Okay, and you have to look at who's representing us. Everybody laughing all the way to the bank except us. Another thing, I keep hearing the migrants and the migrants and the illegals and the migrants, and it's starting to give you that 7-day itch. My thing to the people who keep whining about the illegals, you want to F you an illegal, baby? Because all you got to do is ask. Because y'all keep bringing up the illegals, talking about the resources. Well, let me break it down to you. The illegals is not effing up the goddamn resources, okay? Let's put that out there. You're talking about housing. I don't know if you got the silver spoon cooking the crack over that lighter too long, or you're Bluetoothing, sharing everybody needles to get that quick fix, okay? All right? Housing authority is effing up the goddamn money. That has absolutely nothing to do with the migrants. But what I say, go get you a half part of that good old Wisconsin brandy, and maybe F you maybe 3 or 4 migrants. Let them run a train on you. Chill. Because it's getting real tiring. And remove that bloody tampon off your lips and talk about some real bull sugar honey iced tea on how other countries are still getting money from the United States of America while they treat us like little nickel whores, Wild Irish Rose, Bad Dog 2020, 2 for 5 Amsterdam little tricks. But do anybody have anything to say about that today? So I'm going to hang up and listen because all I hear, migrants. Well, all I say is, F you a migrant, F you a migrant, F you a migrant. Get it out your system. And maybe they'll give you some of that good micro juice. And stop eating Taco Bell. And stop going to Mexican restaurants since you got issues with some goddamn migrants. You wallow your ass right over there to Cracker Barrel. And I don't give a damn about their iced tea. I make mine sweet. Have a good day. Bye-bye. I kill him dead if he hurts.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I'm inviting you to Cousin Subs in Wauwatosa to try their brand new crispy chicken sandwich, available only for a limited time. Make sure you come out Thursday, October 9th, as I'll be broadcasting live the Tory Lowe Show from 1 to 4 from Cousin Subs on 124th West Burleigh Street, right next to Lowe's. Again, that's the Tory Lowe Show live from Cousin Subs in Wauwatosa on Thursday, October 9th. Come through, say what's up, and grab your sandwich while it lasts.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks. And enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
At Grunberg Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Grunberg Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Well, come on. Lisa walks in with a hungry glare. Smells of beefy magic hanging in the air. Juicy dreams wrapped in toasted bread. Yeah, one bite, it's like a mind just fled. How can it be so tender, so bold? A sandwich story that's never been told. Beef so good, it stops the clock. Sandwich so perfect, it makes jaws drop. Lisa loves beef, it's her one true kind. This sandwich is the feast that boggles the mind.
Rick, wait till you hear the song that I made about you loving kittens. It's really good. And maybe we'll play that tomorrow. It's a song about Rick and just his undying love
for what? Say it.
For kittens.
No.
Oh, Zach, you want a song too?
I'm on track right now, matter of fact.
We got to give people something to look forward to on a Friday.
What's the name of my song?
Rick Loves That Cat.
No, that's not what it is.
That's what it's called.
What's it called? Say it, Sherwin. Say it.
I know you've been trying to offer me chocolate all morning.
Yeah, but you digressing. What's the name of my song?
Rick Likes That Cat.
No, it ain't.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky's Nuts. That's what it's called.
I do have. I remember that song. Where is that song?
Play my track.
Hold on, let me see. I don't know if I have it. I might have.
These nuts. Sing it.
Where is that song at? We haven't played that in a long time. There was a day where I went on a tear when I first discovered how to make music with artificial intelligence. I made songs for Dr. Ken, Tori. Kyle even used a song that I made for him as his theme song. You know, Rhea hates AI. So Rhea didn't want to play it. So Kyle used it for a little while till Rhea said no. Where's that song at? I think I might have it saved at home, Ricky. I don't have it on my.
No, you got it.
My workspace.
You got my
here.
nuts.
Shut up! People are tuning into the radio right now for the first time. But like, oh, Sherwin.
You got Ricky's nuts.
I made another song. That was one that we played.
That's the name of the song, Ricky's
ago.
Nuts. You got Ricky's nuts.
Pause. Why don't you have a seat? Can I talk about radio show stuff, please? Over here talking about your nuts. Probably got little nuts, little micro nuts, little itty bitty.
You named it that. You named the song Ricky's Nuts.
You were talking about like edible nuts, like cashews and peanuts.
Yes,
and
Ricky's
almonds.
Nuts.
You're making it about something else.
No, that's the name of the song. You named it that.
Correct. But you're making it seem like testicles.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Some testicles. Them nuts.
I promise I'm not.
You're making it seem like grocery bag nuts. Because a grocery bag is that's the scrotum.
What are we doing here?
Waste, fraud, and abuse. It's President Donald Trump's battle cry as he dismantles federal agencies, fires hundreds of thousands of employees, and demoralizes the workers who remain. It's also another one of his false flag operations. Rather than rooting out corruption, waste, fraud, and abuse, Trump has undermined the very professionals who have that job, and they are called inspectors general. In the wake of procurement scandals and President Richard Nixon's corrupt abuse of executive power for personal ends, Congress passed the Inspector General Act of 1978 to establish formally the duties and responsibilities of the office. Inspectors General pursue their missions with nonpartisan objectives and have a central role in holding government accountable. Approximately half of the 70-plus inspectors general are appointed by the president, subject to Senate confirmation. They are the only independent offices within federal agencies designed to protect taxpayer money and root out corruption, fraud, waste, and mismanagement. Inspectors general also investigate whistleblowers' confidential claims. Over the almost 50 years of their statutory existence, they have saved taxpayers billions of dollars. For Trump and his allies, independent inspectors general have been a nuisance and even worse. Following acquittal in his last impeachment, he replaced IGs, or inspectors general, for the intelligence community, State Department, Defense Department, Health and Human Services, and the Department of Transportation. In his second term, Trump has moved to more broadly and more rapidly fire more IGs. Typically, IGs remained in place when new presidents took office, underscoring their bipartisan roles. But in violation of the statutory 30-day notice for cause, Trump fired 17 of them during his first week of his second term. He had appointed several of them during his first term. So the next time Trump and his allies say they're, quote, eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government, remember that Trump is actually doing the complete and total opposite, clearing away key guardrails of federal government accountability. During post-termination interviews with the New York Times, the fired IGs said that their biggest concern was the, quote, chilling effect that their abrupt, unlawful, and unjustified terminations would have on other people. Professor Timothy Snyder calls it obeying in advance. The inspectors general use similar language to describe their fears. Self-censorship. Why would you want to write a report that will get you fired? Installing someone who has more loyalty to the person than to the mission of the office. If you do the work that you're intended to do and it's not popular, then Trump will punish you. Who will speak truth to power? These are all quotes from fired IGs. The concerns were, in fact, justified. Trump does not want anyone speaking truth to his power. On Tuesday, February 11th, the Inspector General for the United States Agency of International Development, Paul Martin, issued a report criticizing Trump's proposed dismantling of USA aid. The agency and outlining the disastrous consequences. The next day, Trump fired him too. On September 28, 2025, Trump's Office of Management and Budget, OMB, announced that effective October 1st, it was defunding the Council of Inspector Generals on Integrity and Efficiency in the federal government. It was a strategic kill shot because the council is the umbrella agency supporting all of the Inspector General offices. Beginning on October 1st, what had been on the website for the council stated only, quote, due to lack of apportionment of funds, the website is currently unavailable. The same line appeared on numerous offices for Inspector General websites, including Agriculture, Education, Justice, Interior, Veterans Affairs, AmeriCorps, Export-Import Bank of the Americas, Federal Trade Commission, International Trade Commission, National Archives and Records Administrator, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, Office of Personnel Management, the Smithsonian Museum, Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. All of those Inspector Generals have been fired. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.
Come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness, or